For many people, being seen is a simple, neutral act. It's just part of being out in the world, like feeling the breeze or hearing traffic in the distance. But for a lot of us on the autistic spectrum, being looked at is anything but simple. It can feel like a spotlight has been switched on, flooding our systems with an intense and overwhelming amount of information. This isn't about being shy or having a guilty conscience. It's a fundamental difference in how our brains process the world. Even a casual glance from a stranger can feel like a demand, a question we don't know how to answer. It's an experience that can turn the most ordinary of days into a series of hurdles to be overcome, each one draining our precious energy. This feeling of being overwhelmed by observation starts early. As children, we might have been told we were being too sensitive or dramatic when we shied away from attention. Well-meaning relatives might have tried to pull us into the center of a room, not understanding that the combined weight of their gazes felt physically painful. This isn't a choice, it's a neurological reality. The sheer volume of data in a person's stare, their mood, their expectations, their judgment, hits us all at once. We are not filtering it out like most neurotypical people do. Instead, our brains are trying to analyze every single bit of it, which is an exhausting and often impossible task. Imagine your brain is like a computer with dozens of programs running simultaneously. Now, imagine someone looking at you is like opening 100 more programs, all demanding immediate attention. That's what it can feel like. The simple act of being perceived can trigger a cascade of internal alarms. Our nervous systems, which are often finely tuned and highly sensitive, can interpret a sustained gaze as a potential threat. This kicks off a stress response. Our hearts might beat faster, our muscles tense up, and our minds race to figure out what the other person wants from us. It's a full-body experience that happens in seconds. This response isn't limited to negative attention either. Even positive observation, like a teacher singling you out for praise or a friend watching you try a new skill, can be just as dysregulating. The core issue is the observation itself. It places a demand on us to perform, to react in the correct way, to manage the other person's perception of us in real time. This constant high-stakes performance is draining. It leaves little room for us to just be. Understanding this is the first step towards creating spaces where autistic people don't just survive, but can actually feel at ease and connected to others. There's a specific type of observation that many autistic people know intimately. We might call it the look. This isn't just any glance. It's a focused, expectant stare that communicates a clear, unspoken message. I am watching you, and I am waiting for you to do something. It might come from a cashier when you're fumbling with your change, a teacher waiting for an answer you don't have, or a partner who has asked a question and is now silently waiting for a response. For an autistic person, the look is a moment of pure, concentrated pressure that can be incredibly disruptive to our thinking. When we receive the look, our internal systems can go into overdrive. It's as if a switch is flipped, and our ability to process language, formulate a response, or even control our own body can suddenly falter. The expectation hanging in the air is palpable, a heavy weight that crushes our thoughts. We are acutely aware that a social script is supposed to be running, but we can't find our lines. All our mental energy becomes focused on the immediate, overwhelming sensation of being scrutinized. It's no longer about the conversation or the task at hand. It's about surviving this intense moment of social demand and utter confusion. This experience is deeply rooted in how autistic brains often process social information. Many of us don't store memories as neat social stories or narratives. Instead, we remember experiences as a collection of sensory details and emotional imprints. A memory of a family dinner might not be about the funny conversations, but about the hum of the refrigerator, the scratchy texture of the tablecloth, and the intense feeling of anxiety from trying to follow multiple conversations at once. The look taps directly into this sensory and emotional memory bank, often triggering echoes of past moments where we felt confused, overwhelmed, or shamed. As a result, the look doesn't just disrupt the present moment, it can sever our sense of connection. When someone gives us a stare, They are often trying to connect, to get a reaction. But for us, it has the opposite effect. It pushes us away, forcing us to retreat into ourselves to manage the internal chaos. The person staring may feel we are ignoring them or being difficult, when in reality, we are completely overwhelmed. It's a painful cycle of miscommunication where a bid for connection is received as a threat, reinforcing a sense of alienation for everyone involved. The hairdressers is a perfect example of an everyday situation that can be a minefield for an autistic person. From the moment you walk in, you are under observation. The environment is a sensory onslaught. The chemical smell of hair products, the constant drone of hairdryers, the bright, unforgiving lights, and the chatter from every direction. Then comes the personal interaction. You are expected to sit still in a chair, often for an hour or more, while a stranger touches your head, your hair, and your neck. This is an incredibly vulnerable position to be in. The challenges are layered. First, there's the forced small talk. You are trapped in a chair, face to face with a stranger in a mirror, and expected to maintain a light, easygoing conversation. For an autistic person, this is a complex social performance that requires immense effort. We have to monitor our tone, think of appropriate things to say, and try to interpret the hairdresser's social cues, all while our senses are already being bombarded. The mirror adds another layer of difficulty, forcing us to watch ourselves being watched, amplifying our self-consciousness to an unbearable degree. Then, there is the look in the mirror. The hairdresser holds up a section of your hair and asks, "Is this short enough?" They are looking at you, waiting. In that moment, all the noise, the lights, and the pressure to respond correctly can converge. Your brain might go completely blank. You know a yes or no is required, but the words won't come. Your ability to make a decision evaporates. This isn't indecisiveness, it's a system shutdown. In these moments, many of us might resort to masking, just nodding and agreeing to whatever is suggested, because that feels safer than trying to articulate our actual needs. To cope, some autistic people may experience a form of dissociation. This isn't a dramatic, movie-like event. It's a subtle, protective mechanism. You might feel as if you are floating outside your body, watching the scene unfold from a distance. Your mind detaches from the physical sensations and the social pressure as a way to protect itself from complete overload. While this can help you get through the appointment, it's a sign that your nervous system is deeply stressed. You might leave the hairdressers feeling exhausted, disconnected, and with a haircut you never actually wanted, all because the environment wasn't built for your brain. It's crucial to understand that these intense reactions are not a personal failing or a sign of being broken. They are a logical outcome of our neurobiology. Autistic brains often have heightened sensory sensitivity. This means that input like touch, light, and sound are processed with greater intensity than in a neurotypical brain. A gentle touch on the arm might feel like a branding iron. The hum of fluorescent lights might sound like a swarm of angry bees. A person's direct gaze is another powerful form of sensory input, and for us, it can be just as overwhelming as a loud noise or a rough texture. This sensitivity to gaze is a real documented phenomenon. Our brains may be wired to process faces and eye contact differently, dedicating more neural resources to analysing them. When someone looks at us, our brains don't just register person looking, they might be trying to decode every micro-expression, every flicker of the eye, every slight shift in posture, all at once. This automatic, deep-level analysis is not something we can simply turn off. It's part of our core wiring. The expectation to maintain steady eye contact during a conversation can therefore feel like trying to solve a complex maths problem while someone is shouting in your ear. When these sensory sensitivities are misunderstood, it can be incredibly harmful. Autistic people are often penalized for their natural responses to overwhelming situations. A child who looks away when a teacher is talking might be labeled disrespectful. An adult who struggles with small talk at a work event might be seen as unfriendly or not a team player. These judgments add a layer of shame and anxiety to an already stressful experience. We learn to mask our discomfort, to force eye contact that feels painful, and to pretend we are fine when we are screaming on the inside. This is not only exhausting, but also deeply invalidating. Reframing this discomfort is essential. It is not a flaw. It is a valid communication from our nervous system that its needs are not being met. It is a signal that the environment is too demanding, too loud, or too unpredictable. When an autistic person flinches from a touch or looks away from a gaze, they are not rejecting you. They are trying to self-regulate. They are trying to stay present and functional in a world that often feels like it was designed to overwhelm them. Their reaction is a form of self-preservation, and it deserves to be treated with respect and understanding, not judgment. The good news is that creating more inclusive and safe spaces for autistic people doesn't require a complete overhaul of society. It starts with small, meaningful changes in our everyday interactions. For professionals like hairdressers, teachers, or doctors, a little bit of knowledge can make a world of difference. The first step is to let go of neurotypical expectations about what good or polite behavior looks like. Understand that eye contact is not a measure of honesty or attention for everyone. Allow people to look away, to stim, or to sit in silence if that's what they need to feel comfortable. Providing choices and clear communication is key. Before touching someone, explain what you are going to do and why. For example, a hairdresser could say, "I'm just going to gently lift this section of your hair to check the length now." This removes the element of surprise and gives the person a moment to prepare. Offer alternatives. Instead of demanding a conversation, you could say, "We can chat if you like, or we can just have a quiet appointment, whatever you prefer." This simple act of giving control back to the person can dramatically reduce their anxiety and stress levels. In a broader sense, we need to listen to autistic people. When we share our experiences of being overwhelmed, believe us. Don't try to explain it away or tell us we're being too sensitive. Our lived experience is the most valuable data you can have. Ask us what would help. Some people might prefer a quieter room, dimmer lighting, or written communication options. By incorporating these accommodations, you are not just helping one autistic person. You are creating a more flexible and humane environment that benefits many people, including those with anxiety, trauma histories, or other sensory issues. Ultimately, building a truly inclusive world means accepting that there is no single right way to be human. Our brains are diverse, and so are our ways of experiencing and interacting with the world. The discomfort an autistic person feels under a watchful gaze is not a problem for them to fix alone. It is a sign that we, as a society, need to become more flexible, more compassionate, and more willing to meet people where they are. When we learn to respect these differences, we move beyond mere tolerance and into the realm of true acceptance and belonging. We create a world where everyone has the space to be their authentic selves without fear or shame.